how would you grade Tennessee's transfer portal class as a whole, A to F, and the contributions that they were able to give this year? Now, I want to say that's an incomplete grade because we saw a flash from Dante Thornton at the end. He might be a great second-year player, not just a great first-year player that's ready to go. Maybe he didn't take it as seriously as McAllen Castles, who put on about 15 pounds of muscle in the offseason and looked like it. So how would you grade Tennessee's transfer portal before we get to some big names that people need to watch? How would you grade the transfer portals at this point?
It's a C minus, but it could go up to a B or an A. And the reason it's a C minus is just because look, if Keenan Peely had stayed healthy, we might be talking differently about this, but Gabe Giudicelli and Omar Norman Lott and John Campbell made it a passing grade. Those three. I give them a lot of credit. Dante Thornton was a D minus, and it may not be his fault. He was hurt at the end of the year, but didn't deliver the way Tennessee wanted him to. Andre Carrick just straight up can't play. And so he was a disaster on the offensive line.
I laugh because you're right.
Yeah.
I'm not laughing at you at all. It's just the flat way in which you said it. I mean, yeah, to show, I don't understand how that happened, just for the record. I mean, it's not difficult to evaluate a guard if you've been doing that. Did anybody ask around and say, is anybody finding some holes in this guy's game as we evaluate him on tape? I mean, did that come up? Because I don't understand how you miss. I don't understand how you miss on a guard like that. Sorry, go ahead.
No, it's okay. This is Josh Heupel's problem with the talent evaluation. I think Josh Heupel saw Texas. He played at Texas and was a 4-star coming out of high school, so he must be good, and I'm going to go after him. I don't think Josh Heupel is really spending that much time evaluating talent, and I think it's an issue. I mean, and by the way, Dave, to be fair, I think he's a great coach. I don't think Lane Kiffin spends that much time evaluating talent. He went straight for star ratings when he recruited that class at Tennessee in 2009 and did not care whether or not those players were good or had any any character issues whatsoever. Bryce Brown was not the best player in college football that year.
I just had a lot. You just gave me a light bulb moment. Yeah, I think you're right. I think he wanted Ed Orgeron to take care of all that. And Ed Orgeron did and could have and would have. And I think Tennessee would have been successful under Lane Kiffin. Let's bring some, but you're right. Talent evaluation, that was Ed's job. I mean, that was his department.
I mean, you saw Bryce Brown. Did he really ever look like he would be the best running back in football?
Well, I mean, he had a good 4-year run in the NFL. I mean, I thought he was good.
He was okay.
I mean, I believe you're picking the wrong guy out of that group. You're talking about the 2009 signing class.
Convicts and NFL players.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to start talking about misses, let's throw a new Keese in there. Let's throw a Jansen Jackson in there. I mean, there are a lot of misses in that class, but 3 SEC quarterbacks enter the portal: Ken Seals, Will Rogers, Max Johnson. I'm not a big fan of Max Johnson, but I will tell you this. If you could go to Will Rogers and say, here's the deal. We need you to be the backup quarterback. You're going to possibly win a championship. You'll at least get in the college football playoff. Check and see how much eligibility, if you don't mind, Will Rogers has left. That's a guy that I would call in a heartbeat if you could convince him to essentially be a backup. I don't know that you can do that in the transfer portal, to be honest with you. And as far as Ken Seals, that doesn't do anything for me at all. But Will Rogers, man, if Tennessee found themselves in some sort of predicament, I think he's a great fit for Josh Heupel's offense. You?
I actually disagree. I actually believe in Ken Seals more than Will Rogers.
Okay.
Will Rogers is like,
but you don't hate Will Rogers in the offense, though, right? You can say you hate it. That's fine.
Kind of do. But look, I think to play in Josh Heupel's offense now, not when he was at UCF, because Dylan Gabriel and Mackenzie Milton, like, you're playing in the AAC, but in the SEC, you have to have at least above average arm strength. There's not, what I mean by that is, Dave, a quarterback can have below average arm strength and be good. There's a base level, but Josh Heupel's offense is not the offense where that can be the case. I don't even think Peyton Manning could play that well in Josh Heupel's offense. I don't think he has the arm strength to do it. Tom Brady couldn't play that well in Josh Heupel's offense. He doesn't have the arm strength to do it. I think arm strength is a very, very crucial element in Josh Heupel's offense. And Will Rogers has below average arm strength. Max Johnson has way below average arm strength. He's just deadly accurate. I think Ken Seals is the one with the best arm, the strongest arm of the three.
Okay.
And he actually had stronger arm.
We're going to disagree respectfully on the Peyton Manning and Brady thing. I think that they actually had good arm strength. I think that that was overshadowed by other better aspects of their game. But nevertheless, what I want to ask you moving forward with Tennessee is there a quarterback that you on the message board that you would take? What quarterbacks would you take over Nico next year? So you're talking about 1 year. So Carson Beck or
Iamaleava.
what other great it was a down year of quarterbacks for the SEC, but is there a guy that, I mean, like if this is last year, you would take Bryce Young for a year over
Iamaleava.
right? I mean, that just you would. I mean, Bryce Young's Bryce Young. He's special. No, Caleb may disagree with me. All right, so let me just ask you: is there any quarterback that if he said, "Listen, here's the deal. Nico is my best friend, and he said that I could play ahead of him for 1 year, and everything's good to go." Travis says Beck is proven. Yeah, I think he's more proven. But I can't think of anybody besides Carson Beck. Who am I missing that you could even make the argument for? Go ahead.
You could say Jaden Daniels because Jaden Daniels would be the Heisman winner this year if LSU was play. If LSU didn't move Harold Perkins to middle linebacker, Jaden Daniels would be the Heisman front runner. Funny enough. I
still think he is, don't you?
I think Bo Nix is right now.
Okay, but not to get sidetracked. All right, would you take Jaden Daniels if he called and said, "I've always wanted to learn how to go fishing in a river, and I've done my research, and the Tennessee River is the easiest river to learn how to fish on, and that's the river I want to go to, and I've already called Nico, and Nico said, that's fine. You can start ahead of me. How does that sound? Just for a year, though, would you take Jaden Daniels for a year over
Iamaleava.
Dave, there's not a quarterback in the history of college football that I would take over Nico next year for Josh Heupel's system.
Damn, I have to agree with you. And here's the reason why, because the excitement behind it, the content. I mean, it's not going to get any better for us. I mean, he's either going to go out there and be a star or he's going to flop. I have a lot of doubt that he's just going to be a middle of the pack kid, a guy that's 5th or 6th in the SEC quarterback ratings. That's the least likely to me. He's either going to go out there and he's going to be incredible, or he's going to go out there and try to do too much. So don't just amen Caleb, amen me. There's not a quarterback in the SEC, and I'm sure as hell not taking.
No. I didn't say the SEC. I said the history of college football, who I think would be better for Josh Heupel.
Well, that's a little insane.
No, it's not. I've told you, this is Tim Tebow going. Okay, when Tim Tebow went to Florida in 2006, you and the rest of the world knew that was a scary moment because you knew immediately that was a guy built in a lab for Urban Meyer's spread offense, wasn't he?
Yes, no doubt about it. Yeah.
Even before he started a game, would you have thought, if you were asked, before you knew anything about him, you were told you can pick any quarterback in college football history to run this offense, you take Tim Tebow before you ever saw him play a game, right? And Urban Meyer spread, because you just knew how good he was, how perfect of a fit he was.
Yeah, and like Nico, I like the things I hear off the field. Nico's a heck of a competitor, puts a bad throw behind him immediately, is a snap and clear type of guy. With Tebow, you heard that he could, squat more than the nose guard on his team, that was deeply religious and a leader. So with all those, yeah. I mean, listen, if you could give me any other quarterback and everything's copacetic, everybody's getting along, any other quarterback in the nation. And no, the reason we're talking about this is to have fun. There's nothing happening. Nico's not leaving, and Jaden Daniels isn't coming to Tennessee, but I would take Jaden Daniels. SEC football says, what about Lamar Jackson in this offense?
No, deep ball accuracy is a big deal, and Lamar Jackson has no deep ball accuracy whatsoever.
It's gotten a lot. I agree. It's gotten a lot better, but I don't think he's a perfect fit. He'd be a better fit now than he would have been in college.
Probably, you're right. If Tennessee is going to focus on transfer, so let's to get to the question about transfer quarterbacks, because Ken Seal's the other one. The other one that would be a good fit in the offense, Dave, is Will Howard of Kansas State, who's transferring. I think he'd actually fit in the offense. He's 6'5", 235 and mobile. He's perfect, and he's in the portal. I'd spend all my time on offensive line and cornerbacks, though. And there are a couple offensive linemen in the transfer portal right now, including.
By the way, let me
Vincent
close this out. Derek says, I'd take Mike Vick over Nico all day. I'd be concerned. I've seen Mike Vick play in person. He doesn't process incredibly quickly, and it was about him just running around. So I would respectfully disagree with that.
5'11". You need to be 6'5", and you need to be tall in Josh Heupel's offense too.
And then we had an Eric Crouch.
No, not deep ball accuracy. Eric Crouch wasn't accurate. And for the record, Eric Crouch wasn't even the best quarterback to run the triple option. That would have been Tommy Frazier, who came before Eric Crouch. And
I would take Vince Young over Vic, just for the record. For this offense. Okay, so go ahead. There are other guys in the portal. Who else we got in the portal that Tennessee should keep an eye on?
So there are 2 Western Kentucky transfers at offensive line that I think they should target. Because, Dave, I think you and I both come around. Your best transfers are guys that are at smaller schools that played really well and are looking to try their hand at big-time football now.
Amen, brother. I've learned a lot about NIL. In a year, I've learned that, and I've learned pay your current players. Cooper Mays.
Yes, exactly. If the NIL boosters should spend a lot of money on 2 transfers, Vincent Murphy and Wes Dorsey, both out of Western Kentucky. Vincent Murphy is the best offensive lineman in the transfer portal right now. And you can
By the way, how are you so ahead? Because the portal doesn't open until December the 4th. Caleb's bringing knowledge. How are you hearing about these cats?
No, they've already entered. The portal doesn't. When the portal opens, that's when you can't contact, but you can enter whenever the heck you want. And so they're entering the portal. Vincent Murphy's the best one in the portal. Wes Dorsey is only a 3-star, but emerged as a starter this year and played really well down the stretch. He's from Knoxville, and he's a tackle. And Tennessee needs a tackle.
Call him.
Call him right now, right? You may not even have to open up the checkbook for him, honestly. Because he's only listed as a 3-star, but he's listed as a top 10 offensive lineman in the portal right now on 3. I mean, I say go for him. And now Vincent Murphy might have to open the checkbook up a little bit. Now on defense,
hey, and by the way, be aggressive. It's not breaking the rules, to my knowledge, for a player to contact another player via social media. I got zero problem with Nico reaching out and saying, hey, you may have heard of me. My name's Nico
Iamaleava.
And the last name's hard to pronounce, Iamaleava, but I'm going to be great, and you need to come on down, like in The Price is Right. That's what he needs to be doing.
Yes, I agree.
Can he do that? I don't know. Can he? I'm going to check on the tampering rules. Okay, I'll do that this afternoon. Otherwise, go ahead.
Didn't Tennessee use Peyton Manning to recruit so many of their weapons in the mid-90s? I mean, I'm pretty sure Peyton Manning was the one who helped lure Jamal Lewis to Tennessee.
Part of the Jamal Lewis was drunken Ray Goff like Jasper Sanks more than Jamal Lewis and let him know about it. Why don't you just recruit both the guys and don't tell them?
Well, Steve Spurrier liked Ernest Graham over Travis Henry.
No, I didn't know.
Travis Henry wanted to go to Florida. And
Travis
he's
Henry,
from there, and Jamal Lewis wanted to go to Georgia.
Henry maybe not the best in a one-on-one meeting in the living room. That's all I'm going to say. Herald Group Security Solutions, leadership experience, specialization, addressing problems through unique mission-specific mitigation techniques. That's Herald Group Security Solutions. Is your workplace safe? Your children's school safe? Well, we've heard about the tragedies. Why not Herald Group's Security Solutions? HeraldGRP.com, HeraldGRP.com, or just Google them. Herald Group Security Solutions, talking about guys that are highly, highly trained to make your workplace or your children's school safer. We're in private schools now, but we're going to get in public schools. So out of this early group, give me 3 guys that Tennessee should want in the transfer portal and should have signed up and ready to go December 4th.
Early group, both Western Kentucky offensive linemen, Vincent Murphy and Wes Dorsey. Go for both of them. I also have another one, and it is a UConn cornerback who Tennessee played earlier this year. Greatest name ever, Dave. Bin-Wahad.
Now, these are all
he-
guys. Now, the one stipulation I'm going to put on you is these are all guys that are in the portal, correct?
Yes, they're all in the portal. They're all in the portal. I think Tennessee should be going for him now. Bin-Wahad, even playing Tennessee, he didn't allow a touchdown all year. I think there were like 295 targets his way too. Didn't allow a touchdown all year. You know how awesome that is to do, even at UConn's level. That's really good. And I think you go ahead and bring him in as a cornerback, and he might start immediately. And here's the thing with Bin-Wahad, Dave. He's from Loganville, Georgia, out of Grayson High School. Okay, you're not going to start at Georgia. I don't care if you're a transfer defensive back. You're not starting at Georgia. They're too deep. What's the second best school within proximity of the Atlanta area? It's Tennessee, isn't it?
Yes.
I mean, maybe Alabama,
Preach.
but like Tennessee's closer to Atlanta than Alabama is, aren't they?
Tennessee's closer to Auburn's
To
about a
Atlanta.
2-hour drive. Tuscaloosa from Atlanta, probably almost a 4-hour drive.
All right, what about Clemson?
Well, that's kind of challenging because you have to go around the mountain. Like,
Okay,
if you live in Chattanooga, it's incredibly challenging to get to Charlotte, which, as the crow flies, isn't that far, but you have to go all the way around the mountain. So I'm not sure about that one.
Okay, so the reason I'm bringing all this up is Alabama, Georgia. If you're a transfer from UConn, you're not starting at those places, right? At defensive back. I don't care how good you were. You're probably not going to start at those places.
No, you've either gone to the wrong place or you've gotten a lot better, but you're going to have to sit a year or two more at either of those places.
Right. So your competition is Auburn and Clemson and maybe South Carolina, but I think South Carolina is falling apart under Shane Beamer. So Tennessee has way more to sell than South Carolina. So Tennessee versus Clemson, Tennessee versus Auburn. I think Tennessee is going to be more appealing to a transfer cornerback who's really, really good than Auburn or Clemson right now. Honestly, if you're trying to look to play close to home and from the Atlanta area.
I can't argue with that. Can't argue with any of that. And then now the transfer portal, Tennessee hit at about 50%. If you look at it, they need to hit at 75%.